Good evening. We'll be having the evening session now. Why you need to join the export team, part 6. This started a few days ago, and the objective basically is to put information out there about the need for us to consider exportation if it's something you have not been considering before, and the fact that in considering the exportation you don't necessarily have to be selling a product. You can sell service, and if you don't want to sell service, you can render support services as an accountant, as a lawyer, and a business coach to be able to ensure that those within that space are able to do the business successfully. And the fact that you need to also be empowered through training, and not the regular knee-jerk reaction kind of training, 2-day, 3-day training, but a comprehensive program. And I mentioned the diploma program from the American Institute of Extended Studies as something that can really be considered. And I talked about the fact that one of the reasons why we need to export is to avoid AIDS and manipulation that come with it from the West. I mentioned the fact that we need to boost our foreign reserve so that we can be liquid enough to be able to buy and sell, especially for importation of raw materials and machinery. Also to create SME, opportunity for SME to grow. I also talk about the fact that you need to join the export team to decrease over-dependence on domestic market, where there are huge export market that can be explored. I also talk about the fact that you need to join the export team because to make farming become more lucrative, and also living in the rural area become more lucrative, so people not come to Lagos and just suffer, not able to do much in Lagos because they believe opportunities in Lagos, whereas they could do a lot in the village because there's not much in the village, because there's no demand. Maybe there's demand for agricultural commodity and farmers are making a lot of money. Of course, people will have to stay in the village to be able to produce those products for us and for those that want to export. Then, to gain global market share. So at the end of the day, when you are looking at the market for cocoa, market for coffee, market for chocolate, market for cement, market for some manufactured goods, we can also claim the way we are doing in Africa with cement through Dangote. We can also do the same thing, and the spirit, that Dangote spirit is the same thing we are talking about, so that we can begin to think of global. We will be global in our thinking for product, and the fact that you don't say you have not certified local market before you think of export. Export is not just for profit. It's also to salvage the nation and help the nation gain foreign exchange. So I'll continue with that discussion this evening, and I'll be talking about the fact that you need to join the export team because that makes the exporting country the home of creativity and innovation. It makes the exporting country the home of creativity and innovation. That's one of the amazing benefits of export. When you export, you get into the market, you meet competition in the market. You meet other businesses in the market that will challenge you. Ralph, Abiodun, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. You meet other businesses in the market that will challenge you. Other products, probably competing product. And when I say competing product, I've said it several that it's not necessarily people selling similar products as yours that are competing with you. Your competitor include those selling other products that can be used as substitute for yours, not necessarily your type of product. If you get into the market and you see those packaging, and you see the way the product is being packaged, you get creative immediately. If you're serious about export business, and you get into export market and you see what competitors are doing, you want to do something similar, because if you are going to gain that global market share, you are forced to be creative, you are called to keep innovating, creating a new thing and innovating, improving on the old ones. You want to do that continuously. Why? You are going to meet competition that will make you to want to do that. And what that does for us is a good one, because what that does for you is that at the end of the day, it's forcing you to do what you're supposed to do. So you can't rest on your oars and think you have arrived and then not do anything about the product again, because you are selling a lot. But if comfort and convenience is the basis for doing the business, and you're not thinking of global outlook, then of course you're not likely going to consider any changes, improvement in the product. So one of the great benefits of export, or why give benefit of exporting, of a country exporting, is the fact that competition they meet in the marketplace get them to be more creative, get them to be more innovative, and that creativity and innovation help the country. Without creating an innovation, might have to create business for someone else, might have to mean the higher job, might have to mean a better product for the citizen of the country where the product is being produced, might have to mean more purchasing power being drawn into the country, might have to mean better foreign reserve. So it drives you to do what is right. It drives you to do what is right. And that's why we need to join the export team. We can't stay by the side. You can contribute one way or the other. As an accountant, as a lawyer, as a business coach, you can contribute one way or the other. Even if you are currently working in an organization, what you can do is to start planning towards it. You don't necessarily have to be that, okay, you want to start doing it immediately. Some people is where they've retired, that they will start preparing. That's not a good way to prepare at all. Sorry for the break in transmission. I had an issue with my yes, American Institute of Extended Studies. Yes, American Institute of Extended Studies. We're in partnership with them in Nigeria, and we run a diploma in export business management and export trade finance. They coordinate from the US, so but the Center for Training and Exams in Nigeria, and the certificate is issued from the American Institute of Extended Studies in the US. We just started a new class in this March, so admission is still ongoing to the end of March for those that might be willing to join. Wole Adegborioye, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. Adelaja Ayodeji, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. So I was talking about the fact that you can join the export trade, that you don't need to wait till retirement for you to join. The fact that you can actually join and begin to work or plan towards it while you are still on your current paid employment. Acquiring the skill ahead of your exit. So that by the time you are ready to go, you already probably finished the diploma program, you already acquired the skill, and it's now for you to either start the exporting of service or goods or begin to render support service. Like I said before, that in rendering support services, there's a lot of opportunity in that area for people who want to just render service to exporters. You can render service across product, across pricing, across purchaser, across paperwork, across payment. These are different areas of service, support service you can render. And if you're outside Lagos, it makes a lot of sense, because even though we do the same, but we can't really do it for everybody. I mean, we can't reach everybody. There are so many people you can read that we will not be able to reach. So you might consider that as a service. So you can acquire the skill through the American Institute of Extended Studies to be able to now begin to render those services, to support exporters in Nigeria. And like I said, everybody can contribute one way or the other to joining this export team. And by export team, now, you don't need to have any educational background. What I mean is, most of the people joining, most of the people doing this are not, it doesn't matter your background. Either you're engineering, medicine, education, it doesn't matter your background. What is important is that you're a graduate, either HND or first degree, and so you can comprehend in class. That's why it's important to be able to have that. And there are some people in Nigeria that are doing great services that they can actually export. Lovely service that can be exported, awesome service that can be exported, but they're not thinking of it. And understandably so, because nationally in this part of the world, we really are not very global in our thinking. Because sometimes we just wonder that, we need this outside this country. How can I do this outside this country? You'll be amazed. Yesterday I was reading out some data about the SMEs in Nigeria that we have. As of 2013, we have over 37 million SMEs in Nigeria. 37 million SMEs. And out of that, I think about, I might need to check that again, more than half of them are into one type of manufacturing or the other. So what that means is that you don't need to produce. There are so many SMEs producing awesome products that you can begin to sell and export them. And I give an example that we are going to be having a trade mission in Cote d'Ivoire March 27 to 30th. March 27 to 30th. And that if you have access to such products, you can begin to exhibit. Because one of the ways in looking for market is going for a trade mission. So there is made in Nigerian exhibition in Cote d'Ivoire. solo exhibition of Nigerian product in Cote d'Ivoire from March 27th to 30th. So if you have relationship with such people, or you have been able to locate such product, we can send us picture. We'll be able to recommend for you to see if the picture is good enough. And based on that, you can then begin to think of how to export those items. All the other detail of the processes involved is what the Diploma in Export Business Management from the American Institute of Extended Studies does for you. The Executive Diploma in Export Business Management give you all other details you will need to be able to now make the business a success. Because the challenge is this. In Nigeria today, the mortality rate of a lot of businesses are very high, but the mortality rate for export business is higher. Understandably so, because many people do not acquire knowledge when they are starting a new venture. They just believe they can just start it like that, maybe just go for one seminar and ask one question, and they can just start it like that. Okay, Lawa is asking a question about the price, the duration. The duration is 6 months. 6 months, and the price is $1,050, but they allow tranche payment every month. So you can pay in 3 installments, $1,050. So people pay about $350 every month. That comes to about $127,000 every month for 3 months. So it's supposed to be a 6-month program. So it has 3 modules. Each module, there's a test at the end of every module, and there's a major exam covering the 3 modules at the end of the program. There's a major exam covering the 3 modules at the end of the program. They are all objective questions, but the questions are designed in such a way to ensure you have a good understanding of exactly what is being taught. So at the end of the day, you'll be able to leave the program with a good knowledge, a good background information and foundation to be able to begin to render those services and support services to exporters and people around you. I hope I'll be able to answer Lawa Bakari's question. Olu Steven, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. And Lawa Bakari, thank you for your question also. So, it makes Nigeria home of creativity. Home of creativity. Do you notice something? Even recently, if you check a number of Nigerian products, in recent time, Nigeria is waking up to awesome packaging. Lovely packaging. You know why? Competition. Competition. Product has been brought into Nigeria, imported into Nigeria, that are well packaged, and a lot of Nigerians are taking them, and the supermarket are taking them. So if your product is not well packaged, the supermarket will not accept it. And people want to get their product on the shelf at different supermarkets, and they are forced to begin to package. That's exactly what happens when you go into the export market, and you see what the competition is doing in the export market, and you are forced to do what you're supposed to do. You are forced to do what you're supposed to do, which is great, because at the end of the day, it makes you to be better. And that's why I said exportation. Joining the export team help Nigeria to become home of creativity and innovation, just the way China has been. Just the way China has been. Now, another thing is that it makes the country to become catalyst for industrialization. Exportation is catalyst for industrialization. What do I mean? You know, there are businesses in Nigeria who, I know a particular one, who started exporting cocoa beans. From cocoa beans, they were selling cocoa beans locally, if I'm not mistaken. Then they started exporting cocoa beans. After a while, you know, if you are forward thinking, and you have great vision for the business, and you want the business to be enduring, if you start with commodity, nobody will tell you to begin to add value to it. That was exactly what this company did. They started adding value. So then they are exporting cocoa cake, cocoa liquor, you know, cocoa variants. I mean, cocoa, processed cocoa. Now, why? Because when you export and you get into the market and you see what they are doing with your product and how much they are making on your product, you'll be unwise for you to stay with commodity. I say commodity is the only one, unless you don't have a vision. This is not just about making money. It's about the fact that you can get the best. You can get a lot more from your product. Sulaiman Ogunriola, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. And that will make you to want to begin to add value to it. So export, for me, I see it as it helps a country to industrialize via the back door, which are commodities and processed products in agri are more valued in the export market right now. No, different product actually, different product. I mean, most of the time, there are products that we use regularly. You know, okay, for example, one of the one I know that is of valuable in the market is pap. I export pap to the UK, and some people do it also to the US. Pap and beans flour. Then another very interesting product that I know a Nigerian who exports 4 containers to the UK every month is plantain chips. But you know the way the plantain chips will be. It's not the regular way we package our plantain chips. If I was in the office, I'll probably be able to show you the way some of the picture of how the plantain chips are packaged. So you understand what I'm talking about. It has to be well labeled. You know, plantain chips. So also, what's the name of this? Tiger nut flour is coming up. Different kind of teas are also coming up. Teas. Then, of course, kuli kuli. Granite cake, kuli kuli. We do that also. Then, of course, spices, another one. These are just few ones. But if you check my timeline or Lawa Bakari, you can drop a message. Maybe when I finish, drop a message. I will look for some of those pictures and I will send it again. I've drawn some of those pictures before on my timeline for people to be able to see some of the pictures of the kind of product you should be looking at. So I will try to drop that. You can drop a message on my timeline when I finish the video in about 30 minutes, and then of course I can draw some of those pictures so you have an idea of the kind of value added product I'm talking about, and then you can probably consider it. Oladipo Jolomi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening and welcome. So it makes the country industrialize. Why? Because you will be unwise not to begin to think of how to add value. Because a lot of people are going to add value on your product and making a lot from it. So it's industrialization via the back door. So I see export of value-added products as industrialization via the back door. I say via the back door in the sense that even if you start out without planning of adding value, of processing, you'll be amazed how the potential you will see yourself and you want to begin to think of it. So there's so many products we ship out of Nigeria that we're not supposed to ship out the way we ship them out, because we can add value to them. And then of course when you add value to them, you'll be able to do a lot with them because you're adding value to them. For example, sesame seed into sesame biscuits. Then our peanuts. Peanut is another very lovely one. Very, very lovely one. Peanut. You know, there was a time I was in the street in the UK, on the street of the UK, I bought granite. The granite was very big. All these GMO granite, very insipid, tasteless when I ate it. And I said, can you imagine? Our granite are languishing in Africa. We are not shipping them out. You know, if you know, for people that go to the US, those that go, I know I have some clients that will go with some granite when they go there. They will go with granite, they will sell that granite. They will go with like 30 bottles of granite. They are going for summer or going for something, they will sell it. Why? Because of the demand for the granite and how tasty our granite is. But we're not looking at exporting it. Some few are packaging it for export. I wish I'm in the office, I'll be able to show you another picture and how people are packaging it. Not putting it in this bottle. When you want to export granite, don't put it in glass bottle, it's too heavy. Put it in plastic bottles. So people do plastic bottle and label it well for export. So just a regular day-to-day item. Even our fashion, clothing. But any clothes you want to export, ensure it has African touch. You can't say you want to export shirts or suit or trousers. You can't compete in that. But you can compete in clothes that have African touch. Pocket square made from Ankara, for example. Tie made from Ankara, for example. Those kind of stuff. You know, any clothes made from African fabric, either from Ashoke, from Ankara, from Adire, you know, those kind of stuff that are unique to Africa. Those are the things you want to do under fashion, if you're thinking of fashion. And of course, for cream, cosmetic, fantastic, because we have here, you know, our Oshedudu, it might look dudu or black, but the demand for Oshedudu is amazing. But if you want to ship Oshedudu, ensure the Oshedudu is liquid form. Because here we like paste and solid, but there a number of them prefer the liquid. That's the one they will use to bath. So you can see some difference and modification. But I'm not talking about giving you a sense of different products that have huge potential. Even the shea butter cream, shea butter soap, shea butter this and that, because shea not only grow in West Africa. They will do conference on shea nut in the US or shea butter in the US, but they can only get it in Africa. They set up already in Togo, in Ghana, doing a lot to be able to get a shea nut. And most of the shea nut trees are in Nigeria, but those shea nuts find their ways into Togo, Benin, Cotonou, and the like, where they process them into butter, because we are not quality conscious. Only very few people processing butter in Nigeria are quality conscious. And because we're not quality conscious enough, a number of people have to go and produce their butter. I know of a lady in the UK, a Nigerian, who buys butter from West Africa. He's a Nigerian, and he's selling creams, packaging that butter into small pack in the UK, and he prefers to buy from West Africa. She actually has to train cooperative in Nigeria to be able to get them to begin to produce for her so that she can meet the quality standard that she wanted. Basically, I'm saying there's so many things that can be exported, basically. As long as the item you want to export is local. And that when you begin to export, because of the competition you see outside, you are forced to begin to add value and do more. So we become industrialized. So exportation is a catalyst for industrialization. Because you are going to begin to see a lot of changes, a lot of progress, a lot of innovation in the international market. You are forced to go home and do something about it. Why? Because if you don't do something about it, they will leave you behind. Because they keep moving. Shehu Ogundegi, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. They keep moving and moving and moving and moving. And that's what you want to do also. So at the end of the day, what we should begin to think of is, how can I join the export team? Like I said, for me, it's a mission to salvage the nation. The foreign data, foreign trade statistics released this last weekend is a testimony, is testifying to the fact that if we continue the way we are, that our non-oil export is still about 6.2% in 2018. The implication of that is that if anything hit oil sector now and price drop, we might go back into recession. Because we are monocultural. But if everybody rise up to the occasion and begin to think of what they can do in terms of export and acquire the requisite knowledge, then we can salvage this economy. We can contribute our own quota to the growth of the economy. Faith Ibere, thank you very much for joining. Ibemere, thank you very much for joining. Good evening. Oladipo Julomi is asking the question, how are you, my brother? I've been following your posts on export business, but I find it difficult to find a good mentor. We render export mentoring program, so you can chat me privately after on Facebook Messenger, then we can take the conversation. We run, I don't know if you have looked for one, but we run export mentoring program. So what we basically do is, we recommend our client who want to go into export to do the diploma program from the American Institute of Extended Studies. In the course of doing that program, they also begin to work on their products for export. So the idea is, at the end of the 6-month program, they should come out with their own product and ready to begin to export. And good enough, we have some markets that they can use to start the trial. And then, of course, they can begin from what they learn at the diploma program, they can begin to now develop other market themselves, because they will learn a lot about how they can find market and how they can exploit the market at the end of the day. So so Oladipo Julomi, I don't know if I've answered your question. We can really work with you and assist you to be able to realize your export dream. Because why coming online to talk about the fact that people should join the export team in Nigeria, either as exporter of product or exporter of services or exporter of or support services to exporter. Why are we going to say that if we can't really, tell you how to go about it? And that's the whole essence, giving you an idea of how to be able to go about this. So at the end of the day, you can make it a success at the end of the day. Just the way we've done. And the good thing is that we have made a lot of mistakes when we started. So when you're coming in now, most of the things you are going to be learning are going to be based on mistakes that have been made. So your error rate will be very, very minimal. Very, very minimal. Now, I've talked about the fact that it makes the country of export a home of creativity and innovation. And it makes the country of export industrialization. It's a catalyst for industrialization. Exportation is a catalyst for industrialization. Have you wondered why China is who they are? Do you know that up until last year, 25% of import into Nigeria is from China? Let me put that in perspective. Last year, Nigeria imported goods worth $42 billion. and export good worth about $62 billion. If we import good worth $42 billion, just check a quarter of that. That's 11.5. 11.5. 11. You know, it's so interesting that we gave China $11.5 billion last year, just exporting to us. Because 25% of items imported into Nigeria 2018 is from China. And they're all value-added products. They won't export commodity to you. They take the commodity from us and send to us value-added products. When you export commodity, you export job and import poverty. When you export finished products, you import job and export poverty. So, commodity for me is no. Why? It's a modern slavery, and the West are happy with it. We should be thinking of the industrialization, because we've considered commodity for so long. It has made us to remain. It doesn't. A commodity export does not make any nation to grow. It makes the nation to remain where they are. That's why we have been where we are. Go and check the volume of export we do. We see we probably are doing more volume in commodity export, but the prices are always dropping because the buyer determines how much he's going to buy from you. So industrialization is one of the very important reasons why you need to join the export team. Industrialization. You are forced to want to add value. You are forced to want to create. Do you know that cashew nut, raw cashew nut, if I don't remove the shell and the cashew nut is in shell, I will sell it for about $1,000. And I will only sell it to Vietnam, India, and probably one other country. But when I remove the shell and it becomes a kernel, I will sell it for over about $12,000 to $15,000 per metric ton. The other one about $1,000 to $1,500. But this one about $12,000 to $15,000 per metric ton. And I can sell it to most countries around the world. So why are we not removing shell from cashew nut before we export it? Cashew nut was still among the top 10 exported commodity in 2018. Top 10. Cashew nut was still among the top 10. If we begin to think of value-added exports, it's a route to industrialization via the back door. We need to begin to add value. And I tell people, when I talk about adding value, some people will say, Dele, there's no light, there's no water, there's no this, there's no that. How are we going to do it? Then I answer, if a foreigner coming from China, UK, US, Malaysia, India, coming from country where they have light, they have water, they have good road, they have everything working for them. They come from a better environment to this our horrible environment, and they will set up business. So I'm asking myself, if foreigner will come and set up in our country, we keep complaining of no light. So how are they getting light? So because they are seeing opportunity that we are not seeing, that's why we are complaining. We are complaining because we are not seeing the opportunity. They are seeing the opportunity. So against all odds, foreigner coming to Nigeria and produce. When we go to West Africa to exhibit products, currently Ghana trade fair is ongoing. Go there, if you go there and see Nigerian, where Nigerian companies are, you see a lot of foreigners who are producing Nigeria, going to exhibit in Ghana to sell in West Africa. Isn't that amazing? Foreigners, where there is light, they came where there is no light, and they are creating business, and they are creating factories. So we really do not have an excuse. They are seeing opportunity we are not seeing. We can't give an excuse of no power, no light. If your raw material is from Nigeria, I can assure you, if your raw material is from Nigeria, I can assure you, you will still be profitable despite the challenges. Can the diploma be done online? It's currently being put on a mobile app for lectures. So that even if you're outside Lagos, you can attend lectures on mobile app and they will dispatch the manual to you. Manual will be dispatched to you and lecture will be on the mobile app. but you still have to physically come to class for the exam. So you still have to physically come for the test and for the exam. So it can be partial. I would say it's partially done online, because currently students that are not in Lagos can download their lectures online, but we're trying to put it on mobile app now. So at the end of the day, people can access it on mobile app, and not to download, just open the mobile app and you can see the last lecture, and then from there you can get along. I don't know if I'm answering your question, Enoch Ejukolem. Thank you very much for your question. So I will be rounding up here today, and then we'll continue again in the morning tomorrow, still discussing why you need to join the export team. Today is part 6, tomorrow morning will be part 7. By the way, I come up every day, both weekday and weekend. On weekday, 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Every day, 8 a.m., 6 p.m. And on weekend, Saturday, 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. And then on Sunday, 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. on Saturday, 6 p.m. during the weekday, 8 a.m. on weekdays also, 7 a.m. on Saturday, and 2 p.m. on Sunday. Most of the time I'll be up and basically discussing international trade, but currently we are focusing on export. And this is Import-Export platform brought to you by 3 Pest Trade Academy. My name is Dele Ayinibo. See you tomorrow. Have a good evening.